Coming up next, the secrets to an impossible street magic trick that makes a playing card penetrate solid glass. Levitating a lady who disappears in midair. Creating beautiful women in a flash. Then, find out how the magician survives underwater, breaks a world record, and cheats death on national TV.
Here's a trick that was presented by Harry Houdini. In fact, a version of it was performed in a famous movie based on his life. The magician shows an empty table and a black cloth. The cloth is also empty with no gimmicks or hidden pockets on either side. The magician goes to great lengths to prove the cloth is innocent. He makes a few magical gestures in the air and drapes the cloth over his arm. Looks like he's made something appear under that cloth. He puts it on the table and reveals a large fishbowl complete with live goldfish. Amazing. So how did the magician make the bowl of live goldfish appear from thin air just like Houdini did? Here are the secrets. The magician begins by showing us there's nothing unusual about the cloth. There isn't. When he drapes it over his arm, it looks like he's making the fishbowl appear, but he hasn't. From this angle, we can see that he's merely draping the cloth over his arm and acting like something is appearing beneath it. But if the bowl isn't under the cloth, where does it come from? The secret here is in the table itself. This circular tablecloth is concealing the bowl. While it looks like an empty table from the front, from the back we can see the bowl is actually hidden inside this fake tablecloth. When we first see the table, we don't assume anything is out of the ordinary. The magician is quick to draw our attention away from the table and to the cloth. But this table contains another secret. Beneath the bowl is a weighted duplicate tablecloth that is collapsed by means of a drawstring. A simple pull, and the duplicate cloth is collapsed up to the tabletop. This drawstring is held in place by the heavy fishbowl. From above, we can see the string through the bowl. Next, the fake tablecloth is placed over the bowl, concealing it and the small bit of weighted cloth below. When the magician covers the table, he's actually lifting the bowl, releasing the drawstring and the weighted cloth below. He pulls off the fake cloth and reveals the fishbowl. Since the weighted cloth is dropped down to the same length as the fake cloth that covered the bowl, it appears that the table hasn't changed. See? Same size table. But how does the magician dispose of the fake tablecloth? From behind, you can see that he simply tucks it under the large black cloth and then throws it on the ground. The audience doesn't even bother to look. Goldfish surprise, just like Houdini used to make. Next, the magician will present a truly impossible illusion that street magicians have performed on TV. Normally, they pull a spectator out of the crowd, but the magician will use his assistant. I don't blame him. She seems up for the challenge. He displays an ordinary deck of playing cards and fans them for the girl. He tells her that he wants her to select one of the cards at random, asking her to say stop whenever she wants, as he riffles the deck. Stop. And that is her chosen card, the King of Clubs for this beauty queen. She places the card back into the deck as the magician shields his eyes. He shuffles the cards, making any chance of finding her card hopeless. He throws the deck against a solid plate glass window. Miraculously, one card is stuck to the glass. Look at that, the King of Clubs. But wait, it's on the opposite side of the glass. He's not only found her card, he caused it to penetrate the solid window. The magician enters the room and retrieves her card from the inside of the window. Now that is an incredible trick, and one that gives street magicians the credibility they need to get girls like this. I have to know his secret. So how does the magician, in plain view of his spectator, make a chosen card pass through the plate glass window? Here are the secrets. The magician shows his volunteer a deck of cards and asks her to make a random selection. The first secret is that the selection isn't random at all. Before the trick began, the magician took a pair of scissors and sliced off the top of one card. This card will be his marker. Since it's now a quarter inch shorter than the rest of the cards, it will be easy to find. He places the marker in front of the card he wants the girl to select, in this case, the King of Clubs. When he riffles the deck for the volunteer, the marker allows him to stop at the King. See? The space created by the short marker card automatically stops the riffle at his pre-selected King of Clubs. A simple and foolproof way to force a card on a volunteer. Now we know that he forces the King of Clubs on the girl, but how does he make it pass through the glass window? Making sure she takes the forced card is the first critical secret. Here's the next. Before the illusion began, the magician obtained an extra King of Clubs. One card was placed behind the short marker card. The other was handed to an accomplice, who went off to hide on the other side of the glass window. There's the accomplice, and here's how she hides. The next secret is this container of clear wax. A small ball of this wax acts as an adhesive, allowing the face of this card to stick to the glass. As the volunteer places the card back in the magician's deck, the magician is careful to distract her for a few seconds. This is when the hidden accomplice takes the duplicate card and sticks it to the window with the wax. Then, the magician throws the deck at the exact spot where the card was placed by the accomplice. From this backstage angle, we can see that the card is in place well before the magician throws the deck. From this high angle, we can see the timing of the accomplice and how the magician keeps the volunteer looking at him until the cards hit the glass. The incredible card-through window isn't so incredible when you know the secrets. Now the magician will present another classic illusion that has confounded audiences since it was invented in 1902. To perform it, he'll need the help of his lovely assistants. Here's one now. As always, she's eager to please. And here come two more. They're quite pleasing too. The magician casts a spell over his assistant, who immediately gets ready for action. The other assistants remove a sheet from a low bench, allowing her to take a seat. They raise the sheet as she stretches back and lies straight across the length of the bench. They cover her with the sheet and stand by while the magician continues to cast his spell. Watch. The girl is floating off the table. Higher and higher, she floats into the air. Below, the magician waves his arm to prove there's nothing supporting her. He takes the sheet and she's gone. Disappeared in midair by magic. Now you know why this illusion is a classic. So, how did the magician make his assistant rise up into the air, then vanish without a trace? Here are the secrets. When the assistant enters, she's placed under a spell and takes her position on the bench. Of course, it's not a real spell, and that's not an ordinary bench. Cleverly concealed are flaps of spandex fabric that match the top of the bench. they disguise a secret compartment below. The compartment is big enough to hold the assistant quite comfortably. We see her sit down onto the bench, then the other assistants raise the sheet. As soon as she is hidden from view, the assistant quickly slips into her secret compartment and closes the spandex flaps. From above, we can see how swiftly she gets into her concealed position. But if she's hidden inside the bench, how does it appear that she's still on top, covered by the sheet? Hidden behind the table is a fine wire body form that's bent into the shape of the reclining girl. The wire form takes the place of the assistant and is impossible to detect when covered by the sheet. Very thin black wires are attached at the head of the form and the feet. They run up to a pulley system concealed in the rafters and down to another assistant who is hidden off stage. Nice. When the sheet is raised, the assistant climbs into the bench and the offstage girl manipulates the rope. This raises the body form, which takes the place of the assistant who's supposed to be lying on the bench. With the sheet on top, no one is any the wiser. When the magician appears to be making the assistant rise, it's actually the body form under the sheet, being pulled up by the thin black wires. Even from this backstage angle, the wires are difficult to see. From above, we can see how the pulleys are raised, taking the form up with them. But with the body form suspended by wires, how does the magician make it disappear when he removes the sheet? Here's another secret. When the sheet is pulled, the form is lifted higher into the air. The careful timing of lighting and camera movement hides the body form from view. From this angle, we see it go, making a girl levitate